our Girls Gets Glory. Woohoo! Thank you to Wizards of the Coast for sponsoring this season. Shout out to Johannes Plenio, coolfreepix.com for some of our cool background images. Rachel, yours is from?
James's RPG art on Patreon. These are the animated Zoom D&D backgrounds.
Pretty cool. So I'm Kim Doherty, and I play Daisy Gamwich, your changeling artificer, 9th level.
I'm Erica Fermina, and I play Leaf, your goblin druid.
Hi, I'm Alice Gretchen, and I play Valada Nailo, your centaur bard.
I'm Ali Gonino. I'm playing Alyssum Todrias, your Eladrin sorceress.
Welcome back, Ali.
Welcome
back. Happy to be back.
And I am Kelly Lynn D'Angelo playing Jacques de Cogiance, your Furbo cleric.
I am Rachel Seeley. I am your human DM. Welcome back. Who thinks they can give a recap of the 4 that were here last and gain your advantage?
Anybody?
Yeah, get that advantage.
All right, so we were all last season dead and living in the plains of penitence, aka the afterlife, and now we're back in the not afterlife, and we are but kind of undead. Something's going on there. We're not exactly sure. But last episode we had to say goodbye to Rufus because he finally found his love and his son, and it was a very touching moment. And you know, she didn't want him to leave her again, and he said, no, I'm not leaving you again. So we left him to be with his love, and we also destroyed the 3rd spire, the 3rd ice spire, and that was done. How was that done? Oh, his love, what's her name?
Lizzie Limestone.
Lizzie Limestone is a badass.
Yeah, she is.
Like destroying all these undead, and then we came in, and it was a beautiful moment where Jacques stabbed the spire and it exploded right as Rufus and Lizzie kissed. It was really magical. And now we're moving on to get the next one.
You are. You're actually on 4 spires destroyed. You have 1 more left.
Oh, my math is
You have South Essen, you have Mozumdar now, you have the swamp, and you also have Moses' hometown. You went and saved Mose.
Woohoo! So we're on to the last spire.
The last spire.
Were we? It was okay. We haven't left yet, though. But
No,
we're
you haven't. Yeah. So when we left off, everyone was. Oh, remember to mark off your advantage. Get your little piece of paper.
Piece of paper.
Yeah. Hey, if anybody wants to sponsor us and send us little tokens. Anyways, where we last left off, we were in Mozumdar, and you were in Rufus's apartment. Now he tells you can stay for the night. Obviously, you can stay as long as you'd like. And it's a very nice apartment. Very modern. Lots of bright colors. Everything looks pretty expensive, actually. You didn't know that Rufus was flush with cash, but he really is. Especially in the real world. Because he's a star. He's a celebrity. And every once in a while, you'll hear him go to a window because people are shouting his name. And you get the sense that this is definitely something he used to do when he lived here. And he would go to the window and he'd take out his guitar and he'd play for the masses. Very Romeo and Juliet. You can have a long rest. Mark off on your character sheet if you need to that you're taking a long rest. And in the morning, Rufus makes sure you all have breakfast. He takes you down to Omar's Steakhouse and he buys you all breakfast and a round if you're so inclined. And the time comes when you realize you'll be needing to leave soon. And he very much does that thing of, it's not goodbye. It's just, I'll see you later. Don't anyone say goodbye to me. Or, I'm sorry. You know, don't anyone say goodbye to me. I mean, it's not a goodbye. So I don't want to hear it, all right? You know?
See you later.
Rufus, I look forward to the music that will come from these stories.
Oh man, I got some good ideas in mind. Now you need to come back because we're going to be making some more music together, you know?
Oh yes, I have a few lyrics in me. If you want to, exchange, I'll just get your
Yes.
address and
Yeah.
we'll pen pal.
I'll see y'all later.
I have Rufus's address. Oh my gosh.
So he walks with you to the edge of town because he has the very brilliant idea that perhaps it's not the wisest thing to just crack open one of these eggs in the middle of a restaurant. So he takes you outside the walls, and of course Lizzie's giving him the space so he can say goodbye to his friends. And he's standing there on the other side of a huge sandstone-colored wall looking out on the dunes with all of you. And he has his hands on his hips, and he's not looking at any of you, and his voice cracks a little bit when he says, it's time, I think. Got to go save the world and all.
I believe I have the last egg, right?
You do.
Okay. I take it out of my saddlebag. And by the way, oh wait, no. Okay. Dummer's still with me, right?
He is.
Okay. All right. Yay. I look at Rufus and I decide to spare him the agony, and I just give him a quick wink, and I crack the egg open and just go in, trying to just rip that Band-Aid off.
All right. Dimmer actually goes right after you.
Okay.
He's eager to be with you, and now that he's found you, he's not going to leave you behind.
Yeah, he doesn't know yet, but I'm planning to like link us together forever somehow. I'm going to find the most powerful wizard with the most powerful spells.
Oh, okay. Okay, good to know. Checking that off. Just a little. All right. Rufus is again just looking at his feet. Not looking up.
I'll see you soon, Rufus. Daisy
Yeah.
said.
All right, Daisy.
All right. And just so you know, I have one more of those balls also to bring us home, in case anyone was wondering. And then she jumps through the portal.
You have the returning one. Yep.
Yeah.
Leaf will just walk up to Rufus and be like, I'll see you later.
Yeah, little man, I'll see you soon.
Quick hug, and then hops in the portal.
He makes a noise like he's, choking back tears, and he just pats your head and he says, "Yeah, son, it's fine."
And just to be clear, Artemis was with me.
Yeah, of course.
She's always with me.
Of course. I assume.
And
I wouldn't
then
let you leave her behind.
And then I go up to Rufus and I do a 10-point parent trap handshake, and then I jump in.
You have to crouch down a little bit because he is a rock gnome and you are rather tall. But yes, you do so. All right. So when you jump through the portal, it's dark for a moment. And you realize your eyes are closed because you're in a rather blissful place. You hear the sounds of waves crashing very gently. You hear seagulls circling overhead, and you smell the salt of the sea and frangipani, small, sweet, fragrant flowers. And there's a warm breeze blowing by.
Are we in the British Virgin Islands?
You're somewhere. And there's a large structure ahead of you when you open your eyes. But now we're actually going to change perspectives. Alyssum. Several weeks ago at this point, you and your friends defeated a hag. You got sucked into a giant red beam of light that catapulted you somewhere. And you never figured out where. For the briefest of moments, you opened your eyes, bleary, and you saw snow. and you looked around. You were too weak to stand at this point, but you saw your other friends as dark lumps, dark shapes in the snow around you. You closed your eyes again, and when you opened them, you were somewhere different. You're in a dark space, and it's silent. And you look around, trying to find anyone or anything, and it's just dark all the way around you. And you look down and you realize your feet aren't touching ground. It's like you're floating. And it's entirely unfamiliar to you. But somehow you feel like you have been here before. You sit in this darkness for a while. A very long while, in fact. And strangely enough, nothing about it makes you panic, even though you are very much alone. You're not sure how much time has passed. It's certainly been at least more than a day. But eventually, as you're drifting in and out of sleep, just floating in this darkness, you hear a voice. And it says, "It's all right to come out now." You open your eyes again, and you're in somewhere else entirely. You see, looking around, you're in a circular room. There are no windows. There's a single doorway ahead of you. Light coming from somewhere, you're not sure. It's very dim. But most notably, you can tell you're inside of something that's rotating. And you can see through it. It has a very faint purplish sheen to it. You don't see anyone else there. Alyssum, what do you do?
I call out and I say, "Is anyone there?"
There's no response.
I think I'd like to cast my dancing lights.
Mhm.
I can light my way. There.
You cast them, and surprisingly, they go through whatever thing you're inside that's rotating around you, like a capsule of some kind. Make a perception check for me.
18.
It's not a capsule. You can tell what it is by the facets and the lines in it and the imperfections. It's weird, but you seem to be inside of a giant crystal.
Like a giant amethyst.
Mm-hmm. It's see-through and it's slowly rotating around you.
I'm never leaving.
I mean, why not? All right, so that's Alyssum. She's there forever.
I would like to run up to one of the walls and touch the wall.
So you reach out. Are you trying to just reach through the crystal or touch the crystal wall itself?
Touch the crystal wall.
All right, you do so. And as your fingers touch the cool crystal, and it is very cool to the touch, it stops rotating. And it looks like the panel, the flat surface of it in front of you, phases out of existence. So there's just an opening now. And you're not so high off the ground.
Do I see what's on the other side of the opening? Is it outside or?
The opening is dark. And you're up a little bit. You're raised.
Okay. Do I like feel cold? Do I feel warm? Do I feel good here?
You feel fine. You don't feel threatened, certainly. You don't really feel like you're in a bad place that you need to worry about, but you won't know until you go out there.
Do I want to leave out the door or do I want to leave out the crystal? Okay. I think I'm gonna go out the crystal.
Okay. Yeah. So you hop down. The crystal is floating about this high off the ground, and it's pointed at the bottom and obviously pointed at the top, and you can just jump out and you are in a room. The stones underneath your feet are laid out in a circular pattern that just gets larger and larger and larger so it can fill the entire room. It's a dark, dark stone. And there's nothing else in here.
Oh.
Yeah.
From one room to another room?
Yeah. So you go over to the doorway and you start to walk through. And you blink very heavily. It feels like something is in your eyes. Like you've stuck your head in a humidifier.
Okay.
And you realize you're just walking into darkness. But you look down and you can see yourself. And you're just walking over and over and over and over. And then ahead of you, you see a door. In this darkness. It's dark. Like there's a spotlight on it.
I'm gonna go through it.
All right. You go through the door. It's a plain wooden door, very unremarkable. You turn the handle and you pull it open. And on the other side is a rather inviting room. It looks like it's in a thatch-roofed hut. And the windows are propped open. And you can hear the sea outside. And seagulls. And there's a gentle breeze. And it's warm and pleasant. And you see a short halfling man at a kitchen counter. It looks like he's kneading bread. And he turns and looks over his shoulder at you and he says, "Oh, come on in."
Hi, pardon me. Sorry, I hope I didn't startle you.
Oh, no, I knew you were here.
Oh. And where exactly is here?
That's a good question. Would you believe me if I told you I made it up?
Yes.
Good. I like you. All right. Well, for lack of a better term, this is my mind. Isn't that fun?
Yes. How did I get here?
I brought you here.
Are you my creator?
No. Oh, no. Please. No. I'm powerful, but I'm not that powerful. I don't create people.
Okay.
People are too complex. I can't. No.
Interesting. Can I ask why you brought me here?
Sure. Of course. Absolutely. But all good things in time. Have a seat at the table. I'm almost done with this.
Okay.
And you go over and sit at this short, squat table that just has 2 chairs. And the whole room is very delightful. There's little knickknacks and bits and bobs of bright colors. There's a garland made of bright, vibrant feathers from some kind of exotic bird. And you see he's got plants in pots all over, just stuck in corners that he's taking care of and he's curating. And at one point he darts over to one and he's talking to it and he starts to pour water on it. And he finishes kneading his bread and he sets it inside a white porcelain ramekin and he sets it aside and he puts a little cloth over it. And he dips off to some kind of cabinet on the side, opens it up, and pulls something out, closes the cabinet, and comes over to the table and hops up into his seat. And in front of you, he puts down a crystal decanter and 2 small cups. And he smiles at you. He's very charming. You can't quite tell what age he is. He's one of those people like Keanu Reeves who's kind of ageless. And he has kind little eyes that squint a little bit when he smiles and very high cheekbones. He's a deep tan with long jet black hair that looks like pure onyx. And he settles into his seat and he lifts the collar of his little blouse and leans back. So, you're from Oasis.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think about how to say this without bragging. Because it's not a brag, I promise. It's kind of an accident. Do you remember the history of your town at all? Do people talk about it?
Well, the thing is, I died.
I know, I felt that.
Okay. So unfortunately, I lost a lot of my memory.
Oh.
I know that I'm from Oasis.
Mhm.
The details are a bit hazy. I think I was a healer.
Mhm. Yes, you are.
Yeah. I to be quite honest, I don't.
You can make a history check.
I can? Okay.
Yeah. Let's see if you do remember.
Ooh, 25.
With a 25, this guy's talking about asking if you know who the inception of your town. And you don't know, like, there's no history of your town. There's no, there's no one that really keeps records that old because your town has been around for a long time. Oasis is an oasis. It's a small town situated on the coast in the middle of the desert. It's just sand dune, plain of sand, and then suddenly hills and palm trees and fresh water in the middle of nowhere. There is, and you remember, there is a kid's story about a wizard who created Oasis. And he's trapped somewhere. And many, many tourists, many treasure hunters have come to Oasis and run rampant in the jungles trying to find this man, this figure of legend. And at this point, you're all convinced that he's not real because no one has ever found him.
Yes, I remember this.
He looks very sheepish. And he says, so I don't know how to say this. I'm not him. I'm not the wizard. It was my dad.
So he was real.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. But not like, I've heard a couple people being like, oh, he's immortal, he's a powerful human. Well, he was not. He was neither of those things. He was very powerful, but he was not immortal. And he was not human, certainly. I mean, anyways. So, I have to apologize first because I am technically using you. I promise no harm is going to come to you. I just needed a little bit of a break.
Oh, using me for what?
So,
wait, using me. Does that mean
your magic ability.
Oh, okay.
My father created this thing, and I don't know how to describe it to you because, to be honest, I don't know exactly how it works. But it is a machine that keeps Oasis. Everything in Oasis is a little bit magic. It was created by magic. It was sprung from something, from another thing, and from another thing that was created by my father, by magic. I mean, obviously, it shouldn't exist out in the desert. It doesn't make any sense. But I
Are we out of time here?
Sort of. Yeah, kinda.
Okay.
It's hard to describe. So long story short, I don't know how to describe. My dad would do it better. The machine uses my magical ability that I got from my dad, that I inherited, to keep Oasis alive. And I just got a little tired and I needed a break. I promise you it does not drain you. I would have asked you, but you were unconscious and the machine was failing and I needed to fix it. But I can't let it not have some magic flowing through it. Otherwise, Oasis will be gone. I don't know exactly what happens, but
It'll just be more vulnerable.
Vulnerable, and the way my dad described it, and now he loved to exaggerate, so I'm not sure if this is actually how it would happen, but the plants would wilt within seconds, and the animals would fall to the ground. The town would die. Which is also why it's so hard to get in here and so hard to get out. To be honest, you're the only other person I've met.
Ever?
Ever.
Wow. That's so sad.
No, it's all right, because when I'm in the machine, I can see anything. I can look through the eyes of a seagull or through a turtle in the ocean, and I can go swimming. Or I can be a little mouse and I can run through the jungle. I still live outside of here. Many, many lives.
That does sound fun.
It's nice. I mean, it does get lonely, I won't lie, but anyways, oh, my name is Alzen, by the way.
Alzen.
I didn't even tell you my name. That was very rude of me. I basically kidnapped you. Oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to.
Well,
She told me that you would help me, so I thought,
who's she?
oh, well, you know her. And he goes over to a table. He hops down, goes over to a table near the counter, and he rifles around with some of the stuff in it, pulls out a drawer, rifles around, and then he comes back and he sets something in front of you. And a couple of things happen all at once. You recognize it immediately. It's a little lapis lazuli figurine of a very long fish, an oarfish. Tiny little eyes, very long, wiggly body, and it has this fin up top all along the length of its body. It's Okra, as she showed you her true form, not as the figurehead of the ship that she showed you before. But when you see this holy symbol, your eyes begin to burn.
Like when I look at it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look away.
You do so, and he looks confused, and he says,
It's burning my eyes.
"Oh, sorry." And he snatches it up, and he puts it in a pocket. He says, well, that's who suggested you. She said that you would help me."
Oh, yes, that makes sense.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm okay. I'm just trying to process everything.
Fair. I think I'm ready to take back over now. I don't want it to put too much of a strain on you, but I do need your help with something, if it's possible. I know I've already asked a lot of you, but I think this might be why you're here.
Okay.
There is something that's messing with the machine. I don't know what it is. I can't look at it. Which is weird, because I can see everything here. The machine itself, you won't really know how to get to, but she'll tell you. She'll tell you how to get near it. I need you to find out what's going on. I think you've been near it before. You just didn't know it.
You know, like where in the universe that would have been?
Oasis.
Oasis.
Yeah. Yeah, the machine is in Oasis.
Okay. How far am I from Oasis?
You're in Oasis. I brought you here.
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Welcome home. Surprise.
Okay. You don't know where it is?
So here's the thing. My dad, big powerful wizard, right? He cast a spell on anyone who would take up the machine or become like the magic vessel. So that I can't actually tell you the location. Oopsie. Huh.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. Well, it's not a very big town, so
Oh.
it won't take too long to find, I think.
Yeah.
Well, do you mind if I just have a little bread snack and then I'll...
Yeah. Oh, I have another one baking. Let me go get it. And he gets really excited and he hops back down from his chair and he goes over and he opens this drawer and steam comes out of it. And he goes and grabs some oven mitts after accidentally burning himself on the pan, and he lifts out what looks to be this molasses roll. And he runs over to the table and he puts it down and it smells sweet. And he just throws the oven mitts away and he hops up and he says, "It's going to be a little hot, but dig in." And you sit down and eat. Back to the rest of the party. Ahead of you down the beach, you see a little town. All of the buildings are brightly colored. They're not too close together, and they're connected by a series of planks, like little docks. And they all have little thatch roofs, and you see people milling about in town. They're wearing very light linens, all very breezy. And they're just going about their day.
Do any
I
of
very
you
much like this place.
It's beautiful.
have any of you been here before?
What is this thing? Is these trees? They have so few leaves, and they are as a ground. There's no snow. Is this so? What's this? Where are we?
Quite a nice change from cold.
It smells. Why does it smell like butter and like cocos, like coconut?
I think this place is called a shore?
Sure, is that what you said?
Yeah.
You know, this looks like in my books. I've read about places like this. They're quite humid and tropical. It's along the coastline, closer to the equator than other places. Makes it warmer.
Is this where Artemis is from?
Artemis is from my shop.
Oh, and what Artemis is... You said a
Oh, Africa.
Yeah, is this Africa?
Yeah. I don't imagine we're in Africa, but
Oh.
I don't know where we are. It's quite possible. They do have shores, like you said, and beaches. That's see the sand over there. That's called a beach.
It's a beach. Oh,
It looks like
it's a beach.
snow.
A beach.
When you
Okay.
point to the sand, you see Valara and Dem are just like rolling around in the sand, just enjoying some nice warm, like
No,
Son.
don't! Not on the beach. And so I like run forward, I pick up Valara, I try to like dust her off, I like try to stab at the sand. You know,
I
like
reach
I'm
up and I pull Shock down to roll in the sand with.
It's just sand. Have you never seen sand before?
It's
That's
like
dumber.
snow, but so much warmer.
Yeah, it's
this
like,
is so weird.
I mean,
It's,
it
I am
It in your
from
eyes. It will not
I am
melt.
from as only knows the snow and the mountains. This is so this is
So-
different.
Picture a climate the exact opposite.
Is that I had never done that before, and now I see it, and now
Now
I
you can.
understand.
Yeah.
So this sand is like snow, but
Like, look
not
at that. And he points
water.
over at a giant conch shell that's sitting just a little bit further up the beach. He's like, so that's a shell. You've seen shells before, right?
Is yes, I see them on like people, like turtles.
This is where they come from. Beaches.
This
The
is
ocean.
Daisy goes up to the conch shell and says, I do believe this is a conch shell. Let me try something. And she holds it up to her mouth and goes,
It makes this like weird little sound. It's not the proper horn that you were expecting it to be, but it does make a noise.
not quite what I expected, but I read about it in a book.
This is impressive. Well,
Jack, look at this. And I'm like kind of wading in the shallow waters, and I playfully like splash some water at him with my hook.
oh, so you're going to get me. I'm going to get ice frozen. What are you doing?
Take off your jacket.
Oh, it's so warm. Oh, it's like tea.
Yes, it's like tea. Very salty tea. Don't eat it.
I
I
mean,
don't know. I mean, I know what the ocean is, but I've only ever seen the ice, and it's cold. As this is so different. But
welcome.
I quite like it. I kind of am hot. Is why is it so? I'm going to take off my clothes, and so like Jacques, completely confused about the. I mean, he has never been in a temperature like this before. Completely like Jason Momoa's, because he kind of looks like Jason Momoa, So he takes off all his clothes. It's giant. Except he leaves on his leathers, but he's just hot, so he doesn't know what to do.
Yes. Demra gives Valara a side glance, like,
I can't help it. He's hot.
this is what you've been traveling with. Huh?
He cooks too. I'm very excited to see what other skills you've acquired during our time apart.
Oh, well,
Demmer, in my mind, for the record, looks like if Mahershala Ali were a centaur.
Yeah, I could see that. Most definitely.
So he, there's competition, but it's not that high. At least not to Valara.
Valara has a choice, very specifically.
Leaf's just gonna stick his hands in the sand and just try to figure out what is, because it's not, it's not mud.
No, it's not
dirt.
mud.
It's not snow.
Yeah, this is the first time you've seen a beach.
Because he's been to like lake shores, but never an ocean. So he's
Yeah,
just
never
like
a proper beach.
picking
You
it
do
up.
so.
So Jacques sees like Leaf doing similar things, and he's going to mimic everything Leaf does.
Leaf, as you pick up a giant clump of sand and you go to look at it, on the top you see this tiny little shape go whoop 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 whoop, and a tiny little white crab surfaces.
Oh, I'm gonna
And he
cast
starts
Beast Bond.
walking around on top of the sand that's in your hand, like he's confused and he's looking for a way down.
Oh. As soon as I realize what he's doing, I'm just gonna set him back down. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your walk.
He scuttles around for a little bit, side to side, with his teeny tiny pale pincers just in the air.
Are you
Like
like
he's feeling around.
a spider? What are you? His thing's got a bunch of legs and little things. It's kind of like a scorpion, but it hasn't got the stinger.
Demmer chimes up and he says, I think that's a crab. And he trots over and he looks down and he says, yeah, it's just a baby crab.
Oh, I forgot I took off. I guess I took off Beast Bond instead of Detect Magic. Well, then I'm going to cast Speak with Animals.
Okay, you cast Speak with Animals.
I'm looking down at the frog. Hello, frog.
The crab?
Crab. Sorry, you're very small. You reminded me of someone else. What's your name?
Sort of spins in a little bit of a circle and looks around, and you see his little body. You know that thing crabs do where they like extend their legs in one direction to move their body? He does that a little bit and then turns up, and with his tiny little eye stalks, he looks at you. And you hear this very tiny voice in your head saying, I don't know.
Huh. Well, I heard that
very
you...
big.
No one's ever said that to me before, thank you.
Are you going to hurt me?
Oh, no. I just wanted, this is my first time here.
Oh.
So I wanted to find out what you know about this place.
It's home.
Do you live in this, sand?
Mm-hmm.
Like, in it?
Right here, and he squashes his legs down until his body's just pressed against the sand.
Oh. I'm sorry I interrupted your home.
Daisy notices that Leaf is talking to a crab, and she approaches Leaf and says, Leaf, ask the crab if he knows where the ice spire is.
Oh.
As Daisy comes over, you hear the crab go, ah, big!
Oh, no, she's okay. She's fine. She's my friend.
It scuttles over towards your feet.
Have you seen any ice? Like, cold, it's just, do you know what cold is?
No.
Oh,
I know the ocean.
you know how some parts of the ocean are, like, comfortable, and then other parts of the ocean you go, oh, burr.
What is burr?
Oh, it's cold. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't think I can explain it to you. Daisy, how do you explain cold to something who's never known cold?
Oh, it's a fascinating question.
And then Jacques like goes over and like he's huge, you know, he's like 7 feet big, burly guy, and he just puts his hands under his chin and listens to Daisy.
Again, you hear, ah, big!
Oh, no, he's okay too. He's the biggest one. Don't worry.
The crab immediately begins to climb up your pants
Ah!
on the side.
Okay,
Ask the crab if there's any spots where there's a lot of white. Lots of white, and perhaps a crab. Is a crab cold-blooded? Not feel temperatures the way we do. Where it's quite white, perhaps snow, or water that doesn't move.
is anybody wearing white? Maybe like a shirt.
I mean, the crab
I
is
have white on my tail. I'm like a moo cow patterned centaur.
Okay, Mr. Crab, crab friend, do you see that over there? And point to Valara.
His tiny little eyes move one at a time over, and they look at Valara.
Do you see how she's got the dark and the light?
Yes.
Is there a lot of the light around? That color, aside from the sand?
He looks up at you and he looks very confused, and then he very pointedly looks up where there are giant white fluffy clouds in the blue sky. And he's like, there?
Okay, never mind.
Where water doesn't flow.
Well, he thought that I was talking about the clouds.
Oh. Well, ask him if there's a place. I mean, he probably doesn't know. He lives in the sand.
That's what I'm starting to think. As much as I appreciate him, I don't know if he knows what we need to know.
Leaf, will you roll a nature check?
I sure will. I'll do my best. Oh, something went up because it's a 19 now. I thought it was +4, but it's +5.
You look at this tiny crab and you realize you're talking to what is essentially like a 7-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
This is a young crab.
Oh, it's a baby crab.
Yeah, it's a little kid.
Well, I messed up his home, and now he's on my leg. And I don't think he knows what we're talking about.
He crawls up a little bit higher and he like bounces a little bit and he says, new home. And he finds a little pouch of yours that he digs into and he disappears.
Okay. Leaf's gonna scoop up some sand and put it in his pocket for the crab.
So you now have a pouch full of sand, good berries, and a little crab.
There's good berries in there if you want to eat those. What do you eat?
He says, depends. Sometimes fish. But they're very big.
How do you find fish small enough?
I wait.
That's a good tactic.
I don't eat very often.
Well, if you get hungry, just tug on my shirt and I'll try to find you a fish.
Tug on...
On this. And Leaf's gonna just kind of like tug on the tunic above the pocket.
He puts a little claw up and he grabs the edge and he like brings it to his mouth, his little tiny mouth, and he like puts it in for a second. He goes, short. And he lets it go.
Yeah, it's not for eating, it's for wearing.
Leaf, is the crab, does he have a name?
No.
No?
Not yet.
Oh.
We can pick one, though. I asked him. He said he didn't know.
Oh, it's no name. Okay. So I have the ability to speak to them, but they cannot speak to me. It's the thing with the firebugs. So, just wanted to know so I could have a conversation with it and say to not be afraid of me. It seemed to be skittish. Just make sure he knows that I will not hurt it.
Yeah, I told him. And I warned him that you were the biggest.
They got the big heart too. So
I
hope he's not afraid of me.
I think he lives in my pocket now. So I guess I'm gonna have to start using my other pocket.
Daisy's gonna come up to them and say, well, I feel like we should get moving, don't you think?
Yes.
Try to find this last
You don't want to sit here and talk to a crab for the next 20 minutes?
I mean, I'd love to talk to a crab for the next 20 minutes, but we do have business.
Lara and Dummer are just at this point lounging in the shallows, just like kind of resting on each other and just basking.
I mean, again, if this is a nice romantic sort of getaway, and you do have something in mind, I do have some money, but I am just putting that on the table. I'm just reminding you. If you find if you wish to be, nuptial, I can do whatever you like.
Demmer laughs a little bit.
Are we having a wedding?
I mean, I would love to have a wedding. This is what I live for. So if you want...
Valara's like blushing and like rebraiding her hair, not looking at anything.
He leans over and he puts your hair behind your ear. He says, whatever you want to do. Don't you have a thing to do though?
Missions first things first. We'll come back to this conversation.
Save the world first.
Save the world first. Weddings can be later.
Ooh.
I'll always be here.
And she gets up and she shakes off the sand and she's trying to cover up how badly she actually just would love to just get married and stay here and just might as well have a honeymoon here. But she cannot bear how much she wants good things because good things are so rare for her. So she like dusts off the sand and she's just looking around for an ice spire. That knowing that there isn't one because she didn't see it yet and no one else has. So yeah.
Okay. Demmer stands up and, shakes off the sand as well and comes over to you, and he's wringing out his tail, which had been sitting in the ocean. And he shakes his hair and slicks it back a little bit and puts his hand in yours, and he says, all right, should we, I know I'm not officially part of the group, but should we go into town, maybe?
I mean, of course you're officially part of the group now.
I mean, I did join out of nowhere, but thank you.
I think that's where we'll find the most information if we go to town and have some people we can speak with. See what's been going on here. So Daisy starts marching towards town. Come on, Artemis.
We follow.
All right. So you head over to the town, and it's a collection of very brightly painted homes. And as you get closer, you notice there are painting details all along the doorways and all along the windows. It looks like people have painted flowers and little scrolling designs on each house, and each house is different. There's a bright pink, and there's a green, an olive green. There's a bright blue like the ocean. There's a beautiful yellow house. It looks like there's a little school as well, and there are some kids playing outside on a break. There's also what looks like maybe a temple of some kind or a hospital, kind of the same building. And this is all situated between two larger hills with tons of green on them. And then in between the two hills and behind the town is a jungle. It's kind of odd because it's just kind of there in the middle of this desert. You go from desert sand to beachy sand like that.
Sand is sand.
Sand is sand.
Do we see any people?
You see people everywhere. People are out enjoying the day. You see people with fishing nets throwing them into the ocean and pulling them back, sending any fish they catch into buckets. You see people with baskets on their shoulders that they're carrying home. You see families. You see children at the school. You see a couple of people coming out of the temple on the far side.
Do we see any guard-looking authority figure
You don't
types?
see any guards.
Must be a very peaceful place. Okay, a tavern. Is there a tavern?
There is not a tavern.
All right.
Should we start asking people questions?
Excuse
Yes,
me.
Are
Daisy
you just shouting it?
shouting at anyone who's passing by. Excuse me.
All right.
Hello.
So you've gone, I'm assuming, up onto these plankways that connect all of the houses. So you hop onto that. There are staircases kind of everywhere for you to get on top of them, and they're raised a little bit from the sand so that, people can walk around and not be tracking sand into their homes. A couple of people stop and look at you, a couple fishers and some children up ahead because your voice carries, and they look confused.
Hello. Could I have a chat with anyone? I'm from out of town. Anyone willing to speak with me?
You hear the kids up ahead laughing and whispering to each other, and one of the fishers looks to his friend and steps up and brushes himself off, and he's wearing just plain linen pants that are very slouchy, and he's sort of tied around his knees, and a very loose linen shirt. And he comes over, brushes the sand off his hands, and reaches one hand out to you. He's a rose-colored tiefling with very bright blue eyes. He's about late 30s, and he reaches out a hand and he says, Sorry, are you tourists? Are you here for the jungle?
Oh, well, we're actually, we're here to inquire about some things. Has there been anything strange going on around here?
Besides you guys showing up? No.
No, you haven't noticed any creatures or evil lurking about
Or
or
ice.
Toxic water.
No, if you're looking for ice though, if you go down the way, take the second left, the second plank on the left, there's a storehouse. It's like a general store, and you can get some ice there. I know we have some.
Do they
some
have
big
shave
blocks.
ice?
I mean, I guess you could ask them. Yeah, a couple of us do that from time to time. Yeah.
Specifically an evil ice, like one that might have undead coming out of it.
No. Although I have to say I don't quite know what you're talking about because I don't know how ice can be evil.
Well, we are here on a mission and we have these magical things that transport us to places with these evil ice spires so we can destroy them. And it brought us here, but we don't see an ice spire.
He looks very confused and he looks around for a minute and looks back at his friend. And he leans in and he says, is this a prank?
No.
No, but we will be on our way. If you happen to hear anything, we're somewhat easy to find. We do kind of stick out like a sore thumb here. If you hear of anything strange going on, we're the good guys. Just know that.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh dear.
11.
Okay. He does not look convinced, but he crosses his arms over his chest and he says, okay. Well, if I hear anything, I'll let you know. Although, I mean, I don't know if you guys are here for a scavenger hunt or if you're just pulling my leg or what, but if you're telling the truth, I would be remiss to not help you. So I guess, like, go to the temple?
That might be a place to go, everybody. I from my vision from my goddess and Blanca, you know. Actually, is there a temple to Blanca here? Is there any?
Yeah, I mean, so the temple's not necessarily like a religious space, really. It's mostly for healing, because a lot of the tourists who come here, I don't know if you know the story behind Oasis.
I don't understand anything about the city or anything about it. To be completely frank, I just learned what warm water was like.
Shots
really?
from the snow.
Yes, I'm from very snowy place.
Also, did you say Oasis?
Yeah,
That's where we are.
is where you are now. So Oasis is there's a dumb story about this very powerful wizard who wanted to escape, and he wanted to leave city life behind, so he comes out into the middle of the desert and he works his magic, and then poof, a town appears. And for as long as I can remember, tourists have been coming here trying to break in and find this wizard. No one has found him in centuries. He doesn't exist. It's a fairy tale. But people get injured a lot in the jungle because it's dangerous. It's jungle. So we have healers that help dumb tourists that come here and think that they can find this incredibly all-powerful wizard in the middle of the forest. So,
Is Oasis where Alyssum is from?
yeah, I know Alyssum.
You know Alyssum?
Yeah, but she's not here.
Alyssum.
She and he looks pretty sad when you mention her name, and he says she's been missing for like a year now, maybe a little more.
Oh,
Well, we have a story for you.
Yes, but we don't know where she currently is, so...
We've been hanging out with her.
So you know where she is?
No,
we know where she was.
Yeah, we know
Where
where
was
she
she?
was. It's
This place called
complicated.
penitence.
What?
Yes, it's a very ugly word.
Why don't we sit down and we can tell you about what has happened. And we're actually looking for Alyssum too.
Okay.
And maybe you can take us to the temple, guide us there, and we can try to get some information.
I mean, sure, it's just down that way, but yeah, come with me. And as you... Huh?
What's your name, sir?
Oh, it's hard to pronounce. I used to have a nickname a long time ago. You can call me Sep.
Sep?
Yeah. You know, tieflings are often named for, like, ideas and things. My full name is Inception. You can just call me Sep.
Nice to meet you, Sep. It's lovely to meet a friend of Alyssum's. We miss her so.
Yeah, me too. So he leads you off down the planks to a whitewashed building at the far end. And this is where we're going to take a break.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
We'll be back in a couple minutes. See y'all soon.
Welcome back from your break. When we last left off, your tiefling fisherman friend was leading you over to the temple. So he takes you along this plankway. And how are you going to describe your time with Alyssum to him? This strange man who doesn't seem to believe a lot of what you're saying.
Leaf's just gonna be telling him. So we died. and we went to this place called the Plains of Penitence, and Alyssum was there, but we didn't know each other. But apparently we were all traveling in a party together. But anyway, we had to go talk to this god, and then we accidentally dethroned that god, and so we had to fix the afterlife, and because a hag took over, and that's why there are all these ice spires, because the ice spires were bringing souls back up to this world. And now, after we defeated the hag, we went through the ice spire, and now we're in this world, and my frog brother died, but he's okay because he's hanging out in the Plains of Penitence. But when we came to, we couldn't find Alyssum, and so we haven't seen her since the afterlife.
Okay. Wow, that's quite a story.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Between you and me, you might not want to go around telling everybody that story, because I mean, absolutely no offense, you sound crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I mean no offense.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a little off.
That is my initial reaction as well when they told me the story. So I do not blame you. I'm a newer ally of theirs.
Yeah, Jacques wasn't there in the afterlife. Jacques' been alive the whole
Okay.
time.
Okay. So, I mean, just little piece of advice. You might want to be careful who you tell that story to. Just saying, you take it with a grain of salt, but
you're a friend of Alyssum.
I mean, I know Alyssum.
Oh.
Yeah. So, okay. Here we are. He leads you to the end of the gangplank, and there's this large whitewashed stone building on the beach. It's square, it has a flat roof, and it has these thatched windows that are popped open on the stakes. And there's a curtain drawn in the doorway. Not a proper door, just an open doorway with a curtain pulled over. And there's a symbol above the door. And you wouldn't know that it was religious, except that Valara, if you glance at it, your eyes begin to burn.
That again. I hope they're not very decorative inside.
It's a symbol of a long fish made out of stone and painted.
It looks pretty from what I could see. Does anyone know what god this is?
Have I seen this before?
Yeah, you've probably heard Alyssum talk about it. Make a religion check.
All right.
Anybody who wants to.
I want to, because even though I can't stare at it, I want to know why, and if there's some consistency with the religions. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, okay. With a 14, it looks like one of any number of gods of the sea, honestly. But with a dirty 20, you know Alyssum is from here. And Alyssum prays to a god, or a goddess rather, named Okra, who she's talked about before. And Alyssum has never explicitly told you what Okra looks like. She hasn't talked too much about her goddess, but you know they have a very good relationship. That it's almost that of, in a way, like a teacher and a student, like a mentor. And if it is a symbol in her hometown, it's likely her goddess.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that it's probably Okra, Alyssum's goddess. Oh, I miss Alyssum.
Yes, I remember Alyssum speaking of Okra. That would make sense, given she's from here.
A very healing god, I think.
Well, good. Shall we go inside?
Yes, yes.
Would you mind telling me if there's many more religious symbols inside? just because my eyes keep burning whenever I happen to see them.
Of course, I'll let you know.
Yes, keep my eyes open as well.
Thank
You
you.
see, Sep has already started walking away. Like he's halfway back to where he was, just fishing with his friend.
Goodbye.
Looks like he
Goodbye.
kind of wanted to get out of there. He kind of looks back and then hurries away.
I can't blame him. Your story is singular, and anyway, we should probably get back to it.
Yeah, I don't think he liked us very much.
You do kind of tend to tell this rather fantastical story to anyone who's stopped around long enough.
Look. I'm from the forest. I don't know what people like and what they don't like.
That's fair.
He asked. Did he ask? Did he even ask?
No.
Well. Anyway.
So, shall we try to see if we can get some answers here? Find a cleric? Is there a way I could look around, try to find somebody who looks like they're leaving the temple, or something that I've seen from that vision that I had? Anything like that?
Make a history check.
That was almost good, and then it wasn't good. 2.
Okay. You have to head inside the temple to look. So you just pull back this curtain, which is a linen, but it's dyed and painted to look like the ocean. And it has waves and little beams of light over it in the way that, you know, when sun hits the water, you see this beautiful, soft, webby pattern of light. And it has some animals embroidered on it with little seed beads. You push the curtain back and you step inside, and it's a low-roofed building, and there are no dividers. It's just one giant room. And it's called a temple by everyone here, but it's not really a temple. There's a cabinet on the far side, and you can see from here through the glass in the doorway that there are a couple of holy symbols in there, and you think maybe that's the shrine? As simple as it is, religion isn't really a huge part of life here. But what you notice mostly is that this is a place of healing. There are a lot of cots. There are a couple of dividers that are pressed up against a wall, but they're not in use. So they're just kind of discarded off into a corner. And you notice there is a person laying in a cot on the far right side. It's a series of 4 cots on either side, and there's someone else crouched at their side doing something. Looks like healing. And they're dressed in a white dress that's a wrap, and there are many things tied around their waist, many scarves, and there's a headscarf covering their hair as well. And when they turn around, you see it's an old woman. She is deeply wrinkled. She has one stray strand of salt and pepper hair that curls next to her face. She has a very elegant face, and her ears are pointed like an elf. And there's a very faint tint, almost as if a highlight of a bright green in her face. And she says, one moment, please. I'll be with you just a second.
And then I turn around to the group and lower my voice and I go, I feel as lost in this temple as I do on the outside of it. Everything here is so different. I think I'm out of my element. I'm going to let you all maybe leave. I just can't quite grasp what this location is.
Daisy just
So he kind of like cowers in that because he's feeling so he did such a bad history check and he just feels so out of element. He just like goes and just like can sit patiently.
Are there any religious symbols lying about in there? Valar calls from outside.
Are there? religious symbols around, Rachel?
Well, Jacques, what did you see?
I saw things like there is I don't know what is a religious symbol here, so I would assume yes, everything here is religious. Or I would say no, there's no religious symbols here because there's no it's there's
Jacques,
yes.
it's okay.
Okay.
But Daisy sees them, yes? Like
Yeah, Daisy, if you pull back the curtain, you see that on the far side, it looks like on the other side of the cot against the wall, is a little cabinet. And the doors are closed, but you can see through the glass that there are little symbols, they're like figurines that represent different gods. Where normally they would be on their own pedestal and they'd be larger, these are smaller and sort of just put in the back.
All right. There seems to be some symbols in the back. But I would just shield your eyes, Valara, and let your man guide you.
Thank you, Daisy.
Daisy's going to go take a look around and see if she can, if there's any sort of anything she notices that might be off or different or noteworthy.
Okay, yeah, you can roll an investigation check as you're going around this, what's kind of a hospital, and just poking around.
16.
So you start looking around, trying to see if anything looks out of the ordinary, and the old woman that is helping someone in a cot says, "Please don't touch that."
Oh, I apologize.
She stands up and she wipes her hands on what looks like a little apron, and she says, "Can I help you? You don't look familiar."
Yes, actually. We are in town. There's been rumors that there's something dark going on here. Have you seen any ice spires or undead, perhaps, or anything out of the ordinary?
I don't leave town, so no.
And Daisy's going to look at her patient and see what sort of ailment it seems like they're...
Yeah, so what you see when you look down is a tabaxi, and the tabaxi is covered in leathers, very obviously decked out like an adventurer. And they have, when you look at their arm, it looks like something has damaged them. Make a medicine check.
Not good. 7.
The woman's in the middle of bandaging it up, and you can't tell what it is without getting closer.
Okay. I'm going to step a little closer.
She puts her hand out immediately, and she says, "Stop. I don't know you. You're in a hospital, and I don't want you to get too close to this patient."
I'm going to try to speak to the patient and just say,
"Okay.
You look like an adventurer. I'm an adventurer. Anything I should be aware of?"
The patient groans in pain and tries to sit up in the bed, and the woman turns around to try and put him back down. And she says, "Can you leave? I'm trying to help this man, and you're just causing him stress."
Perhaps I can be of service.
Have you come in?
My name is Valara. I've come in. I've followed Demmer, and I'm kind of like keeping my eyes low to the ground, hoping that there's no symbols built into the floor.
Oh, there are no symbols in the floor.
Okay. My name is Valara. I'm used to working in a convalescent home, mostly with children, but perhaps I can be of use. What's wrong with your patient here?
The woman scoffs a little bit, and she looks at all of you, and she says, "Why are you here?"
Well, we were told that there's trouble either already here or on its way, and we're here to help prevent it.
Are you healers?
I have some healing abilities, yes. We are also friends of Alyssum, who I'm sure maybe you have heard of. She's quite a significant healer.
Make an insight check.
It's just 7.
Daisy, make a perception check for me.
I'm going to use my... do I use my... Is this the moment to use my advantage?
I don't know.
rolled a 1, just FYI.
Oh.
I'm going to use it. I always forget to use it anyway, so.
He said, well, you got it.
Let's get a different die.
Yeah, same.
Better. You said perception?
Mm-hmm.
17.
Okay. You notice what Valara doesn't. Valara is busy trying to convince this woman. And you can tell she's on edge. Mostly because she's a hospital worker and you've just wandered into a hospital, a bunch of strangers. And you also have 2 centaurs in what's not really a very large room. But you notice specifically with your 17 that when Alyssum's name is mentioned, recognition flashes on the woman's face and another emotion. And another emotion. She goes through a couple all at once. You see sadness and you see longing. But then she schools her face and she says, listen, I'm with a patient. Can you please just step outside?
Did you know Alyssum?
Of course I knew her. Please, I won't ask again.
All right. We have a very powerful healer in our group who could help your patients, but very well.
Thank you, but I'm
Valara turns
powerful
to
enough. She looks stressed out. And she wipes a hand across her brow and she goes back down to the tabaxi and she goes back to work.
Yeah, as we're like leaving, Jack just kind of turns and goes, I'm sorry if we upset you. It's not in our nature. We are trying very hard to stop something bad from happening. So forgive us. And he just walks out.
We were just trying to help. And Daisy kind of is offended by how rude she was to her.
She turns and looks over her shoulder when she says that. And she says, do you make it a habit to just burst into hospitals and start to talk to patients while someone's trying to heal them? Do you wander into random people's homes? Is that something you do?
At the door.
You're not wrong with them. Many of them do that. They are undead, so forgive them.
She looks confused, but she just shrugs and she says, listen, I just need to take care of this patient. If you guys need information, just wait outside, all right?
Easy enough. And so I'll follow, and then I'll tell them that she said to wait outside. At least. And I try to calm everybody, because I know everyone's feeling their feathers ruffled from the interaction. So Jacques is like giving everybody he'll turn to Leaf and I'll go, hey, can you like raise the spirits a little bit by like telling your crab to do something cute? I don't know. It's just, I feel like we need to do something about this. Do you want to get on my shoulders and you put on a trench coat and we walk around and you pretend that you're a tall man in a trench coat?
Do you have a trench coat?
No, I don't know. I just came to mind. I don't even think this place would serve them. What's something that's funny or nuts? Is without Rufus here, I am short.
I could try to do one of those joke things.
Yes, Leaf. Can you do a joke?
I don't think I know any. And honestly, I still don't understand the dirty joke thing.
I don't think the dirty jokes are, you just got your mustache. So think the patience. Have patience with yourself.
What you're not supposed to talk about and make a joke about it.
Like how I'm not supposed to talk about
I just want to see what
the
happens.
afterlife.
So like you can say like think about like goblins. Like the thing about goblins is that they gobble up, like that. You see? That's a joke.
I don't get it. Is it because we like to eat a lot? Or
It's a play on words.
You know what, Leaf? Don't worry about it. One day I look forward to celebrating your very first dirty joke. It will
I'll
come
get-
when it comes.
I'll get there one day.
There's one.
That's a dirty joke. It's a good one over that one.
So we're just having a grand old time outside this temple waiting for little Miss Stick Up Her Butt.
To be fair, again, you guys did just walk into a hospital and say, hey, I'm going to talk to your patient.
We were told it was a temple.
Defend her, Rachel.
Yeah, I thought it was a temple, not a hospital.
It's a hospital. It's called a temple, but it's literally, you walked in. It's got cots. It is a convalescence home. It's a hospital. But time goes by. Just a couple of minutes, and she finally comes out, and you notice she is wiping her hands with a cloth, and the cloth comes away red. And she puts it into a pocket on her apron. She puts her hands on her hips, and she says, you really are an interesting group, aren't you?
We've been through a lot. Also, hello, my name is Leaf. If you need help, I can heal as well.
Thank you. I appreciate your concern. But I cannot tell you the amount of times that strangers have walked into my hospital thinking they can do a better job than I can. I appreciate you trying to help, but we are strangers.
I understand that. And, well, we came here because, we know there might be danger nearby, but we haven't been able to find it. And we wouldn't have been able to come here if there wasn't danger nearby. And we are just trying to find the danger so we can stop more people from getting hurt.
So you're not like every other adventurer who comes here looking for glory and power?
No, we're trying
All the
to,
other
rather have
idiots
less
that
power.
pass through?
We are on a mission. Sacred mission.
Do you believe in the afterlife?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
Leaves debating whether or not to tell her the story.
Probably you haven't given it much thought because clearly you're a very dedicated healer, more inclined to worry about the present. You
And
can
the
live
living.
the afterlife when there's so much need here.
Jack can kind of see that Leaf is about to try to say the story again, and then Jack just puts a hand on Leaf's shoulder and goes, I don't think it's a good idea to bring it up.
Okay.
Just, I can tell. Your body language. Anyway.
Well, I didn't know if this was if it was relevant.
Do you have any important information for us? Anything?
She looks at you. She looks you up and down. She says, you mentioned Alyssum.
Yes.
How is it that you know her?
Well, we were part of an adventuring party together, and she has since gone missing, but she was a friend, and we're worried about her.
I know that I am brash, and I'm not always pleasant. But I hope you understand. You wandered into a stranger's home. And that's very uncommon and rather rude. And I understand venturing parties often are not as socially adept as others. I get that. But I am also missing someone. I'm under a lot of strain.
And yes, we understand and we apologize for barging in.
Thank you.
However, you've made it clear that you're upset about that, but we are here for important information to help the world, and we're wasting time, and we've waited out here for you. So, I'm sorry that you're missing someone. If you'd like to tell us who they are, perhaps we can help. But
Don't you
if
already
not-
know? You brought her up.
Alyssum,
That's my daughter.
you're Alyssum's mother.
Yes.
Oh, now I feel terrible for being off. It's just been it's been a long journey and we're really trying to save people here. I'm sorry, but just so you know, your daughter, last we saw her, was fine. Now, we don't know where she is now, though, but we want to find her. So,
If you um if you have uh, if you objects or a way to describe her, I assume that you have done everything in your power to navigate her. And I have
We've
certain
used locate object, we've used find person. She's not here. Listen, earlier you were asking about things that were dangerous. This idiot that I'm healing right now came from the jungle. There's something out there that is not natural. I don't know more than that. I'm sorry. There's something in the jungle.
Did he say how far out he went?
A ways. There are the ruins of a temple in the center of the jungle. None of us really go there because it's dangerous. I can tell you a short way to get there. You'll have to go quick.
please.
Yeah.
She begins to describe to you a path through the jungle. And while that's happening, we're going to cut to Alyssum. Alyssum, you have been sitting at this table with Alzin for a while, enjoying this bread, and he eventually brings out cards, and he starts a card game with you. And he's telling you all these stories about his father and how powerful he was and how nice he was. He was very playful, especially with his son. And he says he loved watching the people in town. I don't know if you ever saw like a seagull that lingered a little too long, but that was him. He really wanted to be with other people. But he told me this story about when he was younger and he lived in this big town called Mozumdar, and he helped create this school for magic users. And someone there saw his potential and saw how strong he was, and they tried to use it against him. He wouldn't like go into a lot of detail, but he was betrayed in some way, so it's really dramatic, but he cut himself off from the rest of the world pretty fast, obviously, because he came here and he made Oasis and then disappeared.
Pretty incredible what he was able
Yeah.
to create with his magic.
Yeah, he was,
I've never been anywhere so beautiful, magical,
yeah.
as Oasis.
I've never seen other places, but
Mozendar, that sounds familiar to me.
I don't know what it looks like. I've only ever heard what my dad told me, but
I think I know someone from Mozendar.
oh. I know it's further north, and it's a town in the middle of the desert, but that's all I know.
How great is my memory of what I just went through with?
Roll a history check.
20. 30, 20.
Ooh, yeah. You remember everything.
Okay.
You remember that Valara and Rufus are from Mozumdar. You remember that Rufus actually told you he went to a very prestigious magic college in Mozumdar. That's where he learned his craft.
Okay. Yes. I was actually just with a party. I don't know how much you know about me and the adventure I've just been on.
I sort of know.
And while I was in the afterlife, I met some travelers, some other undeads, or deads. Maybe now they're undead like me. But there was my friend Valara, my friend Rufus, and I believe they were from Mozendar. Not sure. One Valara is a dancer, and Rufus is a rock star.
A rock star? That's cool.
Legendary. I suppose we got separated when you captured me.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right. But yes, all that to say that I think you should be proud to be the son of your father, and you're probably very powerful as well and very magical.
I mean, well, technically I'm exactly as powerful as he is.
Mm-hmm.
So when I said son, technically that's true. There's this process that he discovered, that he created, really, that allowed him to, gosh, I don't know how to explain it. He's like a phoenix. When he dies, his body decomposes, and then he's born anew. So I'm like Dad 2.3.
I see. Yes, sort of like the circle of life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh. Would you mind if I just, am I relieved of my duties, by the way?
Yeah, sorry. Listen, so all of the previous versions we can talk to each other, and Dad's telling me that it's time that I take my place again, because I don't want it to drain you too much. So I'm going to try and put you around where I am. I'm not entirely sure, but I think I know. So I'm going to see, it's the furthest I've gotten. So I'm going to see if I can get you somewhere safe, but
Well, as I'm in Oasis, I'd really like to see my mother.
Yeah, I can send you to your mom. It might scare her if you just showed up.
Could I maybe send a message?
Yeah, I can do that. What do you want to say?
Just say, hello, Mom. It's Alyssum. I'm back in Oasis, and I would love to see you. Can you meet me in front of the temple?
Okay. And he moves his hands, and he does so. And he waits, and then he gets this look on his face. And he says, "Oh, I got a response." So there's a bit of crying. Your mom's really happy. She says she'll meet you there. Okay, let me see if I can, I'll send you there. Come with me. And he takes you out through the doorway into the darkness, where you're just walking on nothing through the dark until you see an open doorway in front of you. He leads you back through the dark, through that doorway, and there's the crystal. And he holds out a hand for you to help you up into the crystal again. And he says, I'll help you in.
And this will transport me to...
Well, not necessarily. This is all fake. I kind of made it up. It's a hallucination. That's the word. But it's more symbolic than anything else, you know? You gotta be willing to leave, and you need to be in the door to leave, you know? Yeah.
Okay.
It won't hurt, I promise. All right. He helps you back up into the crystal, and you sort of float inside, and then the opaque wall of the crystal forms again like a shimmering shield. And he says, "Close your eyes. I hope I see you again, Alyssum."
I'm sure I will. I'm sure you will.
All right. We're going to cut back to the other group. What are the four of you doing? This woman has described to you the route, the shortest route. You essentially have to slide down a hill through the mud and angle yourself in such a way that you will slide like a toboggan in the right direction. And then all of a sudden, while she's describing this to you, she stops and her face goes blank. And then she begins to cry, just weeping. And she puts her hand over her mouth and she moves her hands as if she's casting a spell. And she takes a handkerchief out of her pocket, one of the non-bloodied ones, and she holds it over her face for a moment. It's very sudden, out of nowhere.
Daisy's gonna grab her crossbow just to be ready, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Everything okay? What is going on?
When she pulls the handkerchief away, there's a smile on her face through her tears. And in a very shaky voice, she said, "She's back." And with perfect dramatic entrance, Alyssum, you open your eyes and you see a white wall to your right. And ahead of you, you see the ocean. You're on a beach. And you hear voices just around the corner.
Do I recognize those voices?
All of them. Well, all but one.
I'm going to follow the voices.
All right. You head around the corner and you all see each other at once. Your mother, Delphinia, is the first one to you, of course. She rushes, slipping in the sand, and she scoops you up into her arms and she holds you tightly. And the rest of you see Alyssum standing on the beach.
There she is.
Oh, what a relief. What a relief. Artemis is running to go see Alyssum.
Your mom is just crying into your shoulder.
Give them a moment.
You hear your mom whisper to you, "Where did you go?"
Oh, it's a very long story.
She leans back and holds your face, and she begins to kiss all around the edge of your face, all over your forehead and your cheeks. And she's just, sobbing. This is a mother whose child has been missing for a year. She's, it's not the whole works. She's a mess. And she keeps trying to dab at her face with her handkerchief.
I take my sleeve and just wipe across her nose and take a lot of the snot off her face.
She laughs a little bit and she turns around and she says, "Oh, your friends are here."
Oh, yay. Oh my gosh. Wow. I can't believe how long it's been since we've seen each other.
Alyssum, where have you been?
Oh, well, since I've seen you, I guess I've been in sort of a meditation of sorts, a kind of, well, basically, I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to share exactly, but essentially, I've been holding the space of Oasis since I've seen you, basically protecting the magic of this space. And it took all of my energy to be doing that. And so that's why I left. I'll explain some of the details later, but that's essentially where I've been.
And you're okay?
I think so. Seems it. As far as I know. Should I roll something? Health?
You feel fine. In fact, you feel a little bit stronger than you were before.
Alyssum, I have to confess, your mother and I, we didn't get along right away, but now I think we've come to an understanding, and I think we're okay.
Well, that's good. Glad to hear it.
So,
Also happy to have you back.
Alyssum, you notice that Rufus is not in the party. And you also notice this very tall man that you've never seen before.
Centaur man?
No, very tall man. Also the centaur.
Oh.
But
the centaur is holding me.
yeah, the centaur is holding hands and looking
Yeah.
very googly-eyed over at Valara. He's like, oh, cool, another friend. And he looks back over at Valara.
What happened to Rufus?
Rufus found his love, Lizzie Lizard.
Lizzie Limestone.
Rufus found his love, badass Lizzie Limestone, and his son. He couldn't leave them again, which, you know, he's helped us along the way, and we could not take him from them. So he's back with them at home.
I miss him, but that makes me so happy that he found his love. And who are you?
Jacques de Coegions, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've been helping your friends since they returned, well, you as well, it seems, to this material plane. And I've been navigating my goddess. I'm a healer, and it's just, I live life through the channel of peace. So I've been following in their footsteps and learning from them along the way, and it's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
You guys actually have a lot in common.
He's been very helpful.
Please, you make me blush.
And you, sir?
Demmer, who is standing next to Valara and looking at her, goes, sorry, what? Oh, I'm Demmer. Hi.
Hey.
It's nice to meet you. I'm here with Valara.
Okay.
He's my long lost love. He found me in Mosendar.
It's very lucky. I can't believe we found each other. I've been looking for years.
Well, that makes me very happy. I love love.
Oh, so do I. Oh, we should talk about love. It's a beautiful thing. It's also, I should put my clothes on. It's getting sand is everywhere. Is there a place I could cloth myself? This is usually not what I'm dressed as. It's just hot here.
Your mom next to you reaches down and is grabbing your hand, and she just puts it against her cheek. But she looks at the rest of the crew and she says, there's people down the way. If you go back down the planks and then to the right, further into town, it's a deep yellow, like a butter yellow house. They sell some clothing there, and you'll be able to get what you need.
Yes. Yes, of course. I can help everyone get all settled in. If we'd like to take a beat from our travels and collect ourselves.
Yes, it sounds like we might be going to the jungle at some point. So if there's a way I could have the appropriate clothing and you could introduce us to your beautiful town, I would be very interested in that.
Okay.
And also maybe it's like getting a drink is just like talking about love and like what love means, you know? It's been a long time. I would like to know if you like love. So what does that mean? Like, are you? I'm going to walk away now. And he just like blushes and he walks away.
Demmer leans over to you, Valara, and he said, "Well, that was awkward."
I'm gonna run up and hug.
So beautifully awkward.
I'm gonna go wrap my arms around Valara's neck and give her a squeeze. And then I'm going to run over to Daisy and pick her up and give her a little squeeze. So good to see you all. Wow. I didn't even know that I was missing you because I was kind of under some sort of spell, and I go over and run to Leaf, pick him up and scoop him up in my hands. And
you notice Leaf now has a magenta mustache and a magenta pointed goatee.
And eyebrows. Magenta eyebrows.
And eyebrows. Yeah, matching like ridiculous fluffy eyebrows.
He looks like a nutcracker goblin.
That's exactly what it is. He's a little Christmas nutcracker, but as a goblin.
Leaf,
D&D, if you want to make that and send it to me, I would be happy.
Oh, it's so good to see you all. Okay, well, let's go get you some clothes or whatever you need. If we need to get some food, I'll take you around and show you around my town. I'm so excited that you're all here. This is everyone's first time in Oasis, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, your mother was just telling us, perhaps we could take a tour of your lovely town when we're back. We were actually just preparing to go in the jungle where we are told things are not right. We think it might be the things that brought us to where we last were.
So
I don't wanna...
you know how we got pulled into ice when we died?
Yeah.
We're destroying those ice spires, ice. We're destroying them.
Oh, right.
We've destroyed 4 out of 5 so far, so this may be the last one.
About how long do you estimate that it's been since we've seen each other?
None of you really know. You know for sure
Too
you've
long.
been alive for about 2.5 weeks now, traveling around and taking care of these spires and gathering things.
Jacques, how long have we known you? Jacques found us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what? And I have like a pina colada like in my mouth, and just like, oh, sorry, I was going to head towards the place you were mentioning, and the this thing, this like it's so good. Anyway, yes, it's been about 2 weeks maybe that since I last since they found you guys in the snow.
Well, are you in need of rest, or are you wanting to go ahead and proceed with your mission?
I'm feeling rather well rested. I think the less time we waste, the better.
Yes, I think the only thing would be to get some gear that maybe is appropriate for the weather here. I'm not used to it, and it's very hot.
Yeah.
You're very what? The pina colada is so good.
Jacques, why don't you finish that drink and I'll go get you some linens? And Daisy steps to a shop to find some clothes for Jacques.
Sure. You can all... So Delphinia, Alyssum's mom, goes with you. And every time you look at something and you're like, oh, this is nice, she looks to the shopkeep and she says, put it on my tab.
Oh, no, we have gold. You don't have to pay for
Don't
anything.
worry about it. You took care of my daughter.
I apologize again for being so rude earlier. I was just tired.
It's all right. You know, adventurers, they go off and they sort of forget what it's like to be in a town. I get it. I was an adventurer once, a long time ago.
Full disclosure, when I was in Bonnin, where I grew up, I didn't have any friends. So,
oh no. Well,
I'm still learning.
You'll
She's
learn.
doing a very excellent job.
Thank you.
Bonnin is
very
a
good.
lovely town. It's been a while.
Daisy's very good at learning.
I'm a bit of a study. I like to study things.
You seem the type, and I mean that as a compliment.
So I put these things with the little arches in between my big toe and my toe next to it, and they're called flip-flops?
Yes. You can also call them sandals.
Sandals.
Or thongs.
You may not want to wear those in the jungle.
Advise something a bit more sturdy.
Yes.
Okay.
Something with a bit more coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Can someone explain to me what we're looking for?
Ice.
The ice spire.
Ice fire. And what are the nature of these things? How do they act? What kinds of spells have you used to fight them off?
I guess
Jacques,
we should
I'll let
catch
you
you
fill
up.
her in.
Undead come out of them, or it causes water pollution. Jacques very handy with his spear and destroys them. Spear? No, never mind.
Well, you've defeated how many already at this point?
4 out of 5.
Oh.
The fifth shouldn't be a problem then.
The hardest thing, I think, is usually finding them in the source. So, you will be the leader here. I am not familiar with this sort of environment.
Sure.
Though.
Do you have everything you need, Jacques?
Yes, what do you think? And then he like steps back and he kind of looks like, I'm thinking like Jumanji Dwayne. Like, you know, like he's like in that Jumanji
Full safari
gear.
decked out. Yes.
Yeah. And it's like it's a little too tight on him because he's a big guy. So like, but you know, and he's like kind of he has a lot of hair, you know, like he's got the shadow and he's got the hair. And so he's like trying to figure out how to put his hair up because it's just hot. And he's like, does anybody have a way to make it so I don't want to cut off on my hair?
Demar puts his hand up and he says, oh, Valara knows how to braid.
I can help as well.
Yes, please. On the way, I think I look good. You like it?
I think you look fantastic. And I like shoot a glance at Valara like
I'm like, go braid his hair.
As you are braiding his hair, your mother gives you space. She knows. She's perceptive. She goes up to Daisy and she turns her belt around and she says, you'll need these. And she begins to take these little vials out of little holsters on her belt. They're each a red liquid and they're very familiar to you at this point. They're healing potions. And she passes off 5 to you.
Oh, thank you. It's very
some
kind.
of my stronger ones.
It's very, very kind. I'm sure these will come in handy.
Well, if I can't go with you, I can at least keep you all safe somehow. Keep her safe.
We will do everything in our power to keep us safe.
Thank you.
All right, before it gets dark, let's make our way into the jungle. So we go to the spot that she said to slide down.
Mm-hmm. She walks with you there. And she's talking to Alyssum the whole time, telling her what she missed in town. And it's all like small town gossip. You know, midwives sit down and tell each other, oh, did you hear about Sandra and how she's having this affair with the postman? It's all stuff like that. And you know your mom is a big gossip. She loves gossip. It's her one big vice. But she tells you all about it. So you now have a very quick rundown of everything that's happened in the town in the year you've been missing. And she leads you off the planks and through the sand back into the edge of the jungle. And it's just skirting a couple yards away. And the sand slowly dissolves into harder sand and then dirt. And ahead of you is this curtain of dark foliage. And every once in a while you see colorful birds dart in and out. And you hear them singing to each other. You also see clouds of bugs. It's a proper humid jungle. A little similar to Alley Isle, where Mose was. But still different. Mm-hmm. Handsome, sweet Mose. And there are many palm trees here as well. And you see from various trees heavy fruits hanging. And she says, you go straight through there. You follow the path. Alyssum, you know which path I'm talking about. And you come to that fork in the road, and you slide down the hill on the right, and you keep going and veer to the left as hard as you can when you're sliding. And it should bring you down there relatively unharmed.
Madame, to give you some peace, and also to show my kindness, Jacques turns towards Alyssum and puts his hand out, and then puts his hand on her shoulder and casts Death Ward, which is going to last 8 hours. And he goes, I promise she'll be okay, at least for today.
Okay, hang on just a second. Okay. There's a look of recognition in her eyes, and you can tell she knows what spell you've done. And she smiles and she says, "Thank you. If I had not used all my ability today healing, I wish that I could help you more." And Alyssum, you know, your mother is an incredibly powerful cleric. She has these spells, but it seems she has used it all up today.
I
And
give
just
her
so
a
you
bardic
know,
inspiration.
Oh,
Sorry.
I just wanted to make sure you knew what a death ward is, just in case. It means for 8 hours, the first time that you drop to 0 hit points, if you take damage, you pop back up to 1 hit point. So you'll just, if you die, you'll come back right away.
Great. Hopefully I don't die. All right, Mom. Promise I'll see you soon.
You better.
Okay. Is everyone ready? Sure.
Am I
Summer
ready?
nods.
Do you see this hair? I'm ready. Let's go in. You look great.
A very beautiful fishtail braid. Absolutely perfect. All right. Alyssum, you know where you're going. I'm not even going to make you roll survival because this is your home. You've been into the jungle many times. And in fact, you remember the path you took to the temple before. There's a path in front of you. It's very faint, but it's there. And you follow it down just a dirt path. It twists a couple of times, and it starts to get more and more humid, but it's still pleasant, and it still smells salty like the sea. And eventually you get to a crossroads. And to your right is just a drop. It's a slope down through foliage and branches and logs. And there are some rocks hanging out here and there. And it looks very muddy, like maybe a landslide affected this place not too long ago. And Alyssum, you know, this is where your mother had been talking about you sliding down. Essentially what happens is this path, it takes a day of good travel to get to the center of the jungle. And the path, which is the safest option, zigzags. There's a few jackknifes in there for the safest route. But if you're short on time, you just hop off the side and you try and steer.
Starting to feel a little bit of trauma because the last time I was here, I died. So I'm just kind of feeling that triggering of that moment again and feeling like a little bit of distrust. But now that I have my tribe with me, I feel a little bit more confident about moving forward, knowing that I'm not going with someone who I don't know, trust. So call to everyone. Okay, everyone, is everyone okay with just sliding down some mud?
Daisy already has her piece of scrap metal out, the same one she used to slide down the sand dune, ready to go. And Artemis is looking like super excited to slide down on her. She's like, "Can I go now, Mom? Can I go now?"
I'm excited. I like mud.
How many feet long is the mud?
Alyssum,
slide?
I'll let you decide. Is this a route you've taken before?
It's been a while, but yeah, I actually used to come out here a lot when I was a kid and play.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's a long drop. It's a long drop.
But
And
it's
if you
not
go,
directly.
it's not straight down, it's a slide, but it's at a very steep angle. And you know, if you go too far off to the right, you're going right off a cliff into the water.
Yes.
How
So
many?
I would say about 200 feet, maybe more.
It's a ways.
Yeah, it's a ways. So you're gonna take the path to the right, down this way. But make sure.
The left, right?
Yeah, well, we're gonna curve to the left, but the path that we're going down is to the right.
Yeah, you're jumping off to the right,
Yeah.
down the slope.
So what I suggest is kind of banana your body. And you want your feet to the left, and then you want to kind of curve to the left. So press your upper body to the right, feet to the left, and head to the left as well.
Is it longer than 500 feet is what I need to know.
No, it's not longer than 500 feet.
Perhaps you could describe the bottom to me, as I think Demir and I, being centaurs, will dimension door and meet you at the bottom.
You cannot see the bottom. It's trees.
Oh, it says
all
if
the way
I can
down.
visualize it. A place that I can see, or one I can visualize, or one that can be described by stating the distance and direction.
So you can't see it. All you see is just trees all the way down. Alyssum, make a survival check.
16.
With a 16, you know a general direction that the temple's in? You don't know exactly where it is.
I would imagine, though, that I know the terrain of what it looks like once you get to the bottom.
Yeah, you'll know how to get there once you're down there, but from your internal compass, you can't say it's right there and point through the foliage.
Right. I mean, I can give you a visual. You can try to use your spell, Alara. There's ferns at the bottom, and once you get to the bottom, there's like a lot of little pebbles. And
you know what? We're pretty dexterous for being our size. We'll just stay with you. But thank you. I appreciate the efforts.
Demir looks concerned, but he nods.
It's very fun. You just have to grab it and make sure.
I'm sure it's very fun if you have a normal bottom.
And not 4 feet.
Yeah, I would maybe recommend that you go down on your knees and like your hind legs.
We'll figure it out. We'll bring up the rear. You all go ahead first.
You know what? I might actually try something I've never done before, because I only recently discovered I could do this. And Leaf's gonna step up to a tree and cast Tree Stride.
Sure, with Tree Stride, doesn't it need to be a tree that you know?
Nope. It just says you gain the ability to enter a tree and move from inside it to inside another tree of the same kind within 500 feet. I just need to use 5 feet of movement to enter the tree. I instantly know the location of all other trees of the same kind within 500 feet.
Wow, okay.
Cool.
That is
Breaking my plans. No dex checks today. Sure, you can do that.
Other people will have to make dex checks.
Can it only take you?
Yeah, it can only take me.
Okie dokie. All right, are you doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, you see Leaf go over to a tree, and it slides open like a zipper and lets him in. Leaf, when you get inside the tree, it's like a little capsule, and you suddenly are overpowered because there are trees everywhere. Which direction are you going?
Whatever is, down.
Okay, you go down.
I'm gonna go to a tree down about, I think Alyssum said 200 feet. So I'm gonna pop out of a tree that's 200 feet down the direction that Alyssum had pointed at.
Just straight down, or?
Down into the...
Make sure to veer left.
Left.
Sure, why not? You hear that. Okay, you're going to a random tree down into the left. We'll get back to you.
I'll find out if it's the right left.
All right, everybody else, are you sliding down the hill?
Yes, Daisy and Artemis. And Daisy says, try to slide near me just in case. I can help anyone if you need help.
I'll go first since I've done this before, and you just follow the path. And
all right.
With my feet power, I will carve the way down, so it's easier for everyone to follow the right.
Sure.
Fantastic. We'll follow you.
All right. You hop off and you begin to slide down, and you have to have your arms out in front of you to brace yourself because you're just going through bushes and giant flowers. Birds of paradise are all over, and you're just brushing them aside. You go underneath a root system that's carved up over the ground. Make a dex check for me.
no. Oh, I'm lucky. I'm lucky.
Yes, you just took the lucky feat.
Just took the Dex. 14.
Okay. Mark off one of your luckies. It's been a while since you've been able to do this, but you think you're heading in the right direction. You're a little slippery, and it's kind of hard to maintain your balance, but you curve yourself just enough. I need you to make an acrobatics check.
9.
Okay. You go sliding down. It's like a water slide tunnel. You're zooming. You're going very quickly. And the rest of you, when she jumps off the side, she's gone within seconds. She just zips away. This mud is very slippery. Alyssum, you are sliding down with such speed that you don't see the tree in front of your path until it's a little too late. You go slamming into it, and it stops your stride. You're only going to take 2 points of damage, but you feel your nose, which had smacked into it, hurt. It hurts really bad. You think you might be getting a nosebleed. But you can hop off the other side and continue to slide. All right, who's next?
Daisy and Artemis are following.
All right, make dex checks for both you and Artemis.
Whew, okay. Dex, just a regular dex.
Yep.
14 for me. Let me see about Artemis. Oh wait, I need Artemis's stats. Where you at, girl? Okay, I'm using a flash of genius for Artemis. I'm helping her along the way. So she'll be a 15.
Okay.
And you know what? I'll use one for myself too. So I'm a 19.
Okay. You go zipping down the path that Alyssum sort of carved in the mud, and you can see it becomes a slide. It's just a big slide. And you go coasting along past all of these beautiful plants. And it's actually rather nice because you're laying on your back, watching all of this go by. You're looking up, and it's like you're just in a zip line, kind of, because you can look up and watch all of these trees go by and all of these plants, and you see hummingbirds stopping at the birds of paradise, and you get this cool scent from some of the frangipani bushes that are on the sides. It's rather lovely.
This is fun.
You curve your little body just so that you zip right by the tree. However, Artemis needs to make an acrobatics check.
Oh gosh.
Yep.
Oh goodness. Is acrobatics, is that just dex basically?
Okay. It's the one tree in your path.
Yes. You can do it, girl. 18.
An 18. Even though she's large, she has momentum on her side. She sees that tree coming and she veers. She sends all of her weight off to one side and she follows you, breaking through the foliage. She disappears behind you for a moment, and then all of a sudden, she's right behind you again.
Well done, darling. Well done.
All right, who is next?
Chuck is going to walk forward, and this is not his strong suit. He is a big guy, he's bulky, and he's not dexterous. So a little nervous and concerned, he's going to kind of straighten up and cast freedom of movement on himself because he just doesn't think he's going to have it otherwise, which hopefully makes it a little bit more easy to get around.
All right. Make a dex check as you hop off the side.
Okay. Oh, well, that's good. 19.
You are deft. You slide through this like it's nobody's business. You are a tobogganing machine. Might have a career in the Olympics. You turn your body. You've sort of made yourself into a bullet shape, and you've pointed your toes together in a ballet pose, and you just slide quickly down. And you're noticing the same thing, all of these beautiful plants going above you. And every once in a while, you'll pass underneath a system of roots that are raised up from the trees over the top of you like a tunnel. And you see the tree coming with your 19, and you move your body and you follow the path that Artemis created, and you see there's a bit of a hole in the hedge where she went blasting through. You get a face full of leaves, but you manage to completely avoid the tree. All right, Valara and Dummer.
Yeah, because Leaf already went. Okay, so what I would like to do, if I could, just because I think visually it would look really cool.
Okay, yeah,
I'd like to
sell it to me.
I'd like to use my 2 ghostly horsehair whips, kind of Tarzan style, kind of like fling them out to wrap around and like jungle swing down. And Demmer too, because we had this like whip cracking routine together when we were in the circus as teenagers, and we just kind of want to like get down that way.
Listen, I'm a DM that's all for rule of cool, and if you want a Spider-Man with your whips, let's figure it out.
Yes, please.
So you and Demmer exchange a glance, and he knows exactly what you want to do. It's an act that you tried to cultivate in the circus. There was supposed to be like a set of bars that you were both going to grab with your whips and swing around on. Very Indiana Jones. And he pulls out his own 2 whips and cracks them together. And he's going to follow your lead. You're both going to need to make a dex check.
Okay.
As you're whipping along.
So that would be a dirty 20.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you manage to, with both of your whips in tandem, you both reach for branches and you begin to lift off and you swing from tree to tree together, which is such a bizarre image in the middle of this jungle. 2 centaurs that are whipping branches and swinging through the treetops. And you grew up in the circus. All right, yeah, you get about halfway down. I'm going to need you to make one more dex check. As you're trying to be careful to choose branches that aren't going to snap underneath your weight, because you're both still centaurs.
Right. Ooh. Yeah, that one wasn't as good. It's an 11.
Okay. You both accidentally go for the same branch, and underneath both of your weights, it snaps, and you both fall to the ground.
Oof.
Shoot, I forgot what fall damage is. I need to look up fall damage. I think it's per 10 feet.
I think it's every 5 feet. It's 1d6, but let me double check. If whatever you look up, let me know, because I can't remember either.
Let's see. Yeah, it's a d6 for every 10 feet. 10. You guys were pretty high up. So
were we like in the mid-air?
Yeah. You guys were swinging from branch to branch.
Like skating, sort of like.
Oh, were you trying to ski?
Not like like
I imagined it too.
Drag. Like I didn't know the branches were up super high. I was imagining like a low jungle canopy and just like kind of using it as like, you know how a hiking trail will have like a rope sometimes that you scramble down.
Okay, then I think it was a miscommunication because when you said Tarzan, that's not near the floor.
Yeah,
it's like high up.
I should have asked how tall the branches were. It's your call now. I should have asked how tall the branches were.
I'm not sure, because if that's what you meant, that would be different, but you would still, you rolled an 11 and he rolled a 6. So either way, there's going to be
damage.
you're going to have some consequences. All right, DM call. I'm going to say we can retcon this, but it might change whatever consequence. Okay.
What is retcon? Or what is that word? Retcon?
Retcon? Yeah, we're gonna go back, erase what you just did. We're gonna retcon back to the beginning. So instead of Spider-Manning or Tarzaning, you're using it like skis to pull yourself along. The branches are just within your reach, just barely, because I'm a merciful DM. You're whipping along, sliding, like leaning back on your haunches a little bit so you can keep your balance as you pull yourselves along down this hill. But the thing is, you're moving at the speed of a bullet now because you're pulling yourself along through trees on a path that's already incredibly slick. Your friends were going fast. Both of you are going much faster. So the consequence is you've gained a lot of speed. And the problem is you rolled an 11 and a 6. So you both go sliding. You lose your balance. You're no longer able halfway there to whip from tree to tree. And you're both going to hit a series of trees on your way down. Very hard because of the speed with which you're going. Yeah, almost comedic, just branch after branch after branch.
Like a pinball situation.
Like a pinball situation. Well, that D20's dead to me. It's on the floor. You're going to take 16 points of damage as you ricochet like a pinball from tree to tree. And Daisy and Alyssum and Jacques, you have slid down to where the slope sort of cuts off into flat ground. And you slide to a stop, and you're able to stand up and dust yourselves off. You go through a couple of pebbles, and it kind of hurts, but you don't take any damage. Behind you, you hear crashing in the forest as, coming from nowhere, bouncing off of tree trunks, slamming into them, you see Valara and Demmer. And you both fall. You tumble over yourselves, and you fall into the dirt, face first.
I'm going to say the wind is knocked out of me.
Demmer's doing the same thing. Yeah, next to you, and he's trying to sit up.
Are we within earshot? Like, can we see them?
Oh yeah, it's right in front of you.
Oh, okay.
We made a clatter.
Yeah, it's real obvious.
Are you all right?
Oh no. Ivlar here, and I'm just gonna give her a little cure wounds. Because it looks like she's a little rough. Little cure wounds. That is 13 points of healing. That's max healing.
Nice.
Nice.
Thank you.
Demmer stands up next to you, and Demmer's not an adventurer. He's looking real damaged.
Demmer, perhaps I can help.
He nods, and he's holding this like gash on his side from when he slammed into a tree and a branch cut him. Just a wayward, small little branch.
Okay. Question for the DM.
Yes.
Did my spell slots get cleared since?
Yeah. You've had a long rest.
I've had probably many long rests.
Many long rests, yes.
Okay, I'm going to use Cure Wounds as well at the second level.
All right.
So that'd be 2d8 plus 4. 13 points.
He happily accepts that healing, and he looks over to you, Valara, and with a deep cough, he says, "Is this what adventuring is like?"
Yes.
I don't think
But
I'm
we
a
still
fan.
had it for a little bit.
Yeah, we did good at the beginning.
So I'm assuming
He
that
takes
Demmer,
a leaf out of his mouth.
I'm assuming that Demmer and I had a chance to catch up in between our lovemaking. What does he do now if he's not an adventurer?
He's a traveling merchant.
Ah, okay.
And during your time in the circus, he would sometimes embroider and weave. And he's incredibly skilled at it.
My beautiful whips that he made me.
Mm-hmm. With his own hair, yeah.
Yes.
So he's been going around selling rather beautiful and in-demand pieces. And every once in a while, he'll get a really big commission from some rich folk who want a tapestry made. And he will spend some time in that town looking for you in his free time while making this tapestry for them. So he does pretty well for himself. And if he could settle down in a town, he could have his own shop, which is something that he's expressed to you. He would love to have his own shop someday, be his own boss. It's a strong desire of his. To find a home.
Where did I end up?
Yeah, we're gonna get to you.
Okay.
I promise I haven't forgotten you. So, Leaf, you pick one of thousands of trees, thousands and thousands of trees in a jungle. Within 500 feet, you go, all right, it's down and to the left. Make a survival check for me.
Oh no, I don't like that face.
16.
Okay.
I panicked on which die to choose.
So there's some good and bad to this. You are not from the jungle. This is an incredibly unfamiliar place. You're going to a point in a huge amount of data. You just picked a point at random and you said, okay, and you went, you bamped through the tree and it opened up on the other side and you popped out. You see jungle. You just see jungle. You're on flat ground, thankfully. You know, to some extent, you're no longer on the slope. But you don't know where you are. Thankfully, however, Valara and Demer made a lot of noise when they stumbled down that hill, slamming. You know that you are a ways away from them. In the jungle. Alone. And on that note, we're going to end this episode.
Oh, little Leaf.
I made a mistake.
We gotta find Leaf.
We'll find him.
I mean, thankfully, you heard a bunch of crashing, so...
Yeah. I know
We'll see
the
how you do.
general area.
Thanks everyone for tuning in to Girl Scouts Glory. Check out our website or check us out on all socials at Girl Scouts Glory, our website, girlscoutsgloryrpg.com. I'm Kim Doherty. You can find me at Kim Doherty _.
And I'm Erica Fermina. You can find me everywhere at A Style Pixie. That includes Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram.
I'm Alice Gretchen, and you can find me at Alice Gretchen on Instagram and at Alice Food on Twitter.
I'm Allie Go Nino. You can find me at go_Nino on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch.
I'm Kelly Lynn D'Angelo. You can find me at Kelly Lynn Dang everywhere.
And I'm Rachel Seeley. You can find me at Sunny Seeley on Twitch, on Twitter, and Sunny.Seeley, because someone took my username, on Instagram.
Rude.
Rude. Coming for you.
And thanks Wizards of the Coast for sponsoring us.
Love y'all. See you next time.